everybody? Happy Saturday. I hope you're having an amazing Saturday so far and a great weekend. My name is Don Terrell. I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion. I like to say, hey, stories come in all shades, and I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I love so much. You know what to do. Hop into the comments, say, hey, where you're tuning in from, so I can give you the shout out that you so richly deserve, while I make sure that, we're firing on all cylinders on all the channels here. Looks like we are. Right. Let me make sure. I don't know why LinkedIn doesn't automatically do it. I have to refresh the page. I hope you are as excited about this episode as I am, because it's going to be a fun one. This one, we're diving into the creative side. So and once you see his work, you're definitely going to appreciate it. So it looks like we're firing on all cylinders here. Awesome. Again, hop into the comments, say, hey, where you're tuning in from while I, go through all this housekeeping stuff. Want to give a shout out to today's sponsor of the show, DG Graphics. They do all the graphics, animations, overlays, all that good stuff. Basically, make this show look as good as it does. And if you're a business or a brand that's looking to level up your brand content, create more engaging content that connects with the audience, then you definitely want to reach out to DG Graphics. So big shout out to DG Graphics for always sponsoring the show from day one, for sure. Also, another thing I'm really pushing this year is supporting the channel. We as creators, we have to do it. We feel funny sometimes doing it, but we have to do it, obviously, in order for you to keep pace and keep going with what we're doing. So definitely any support would be appreciated. And who doesn't love a great cup of coffee? Buy me a cup of coffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/Don Terrell, and donate whatever you so choose to do. Because I'm not quite monetized on YouTube just yet. We're ever so close to hitting our 1,000 subscriber mark there, but obviously I can't do it without you. Like I said, we are here every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, live to the YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and the website and the Facebook group for the show. But I always encourage everybody to hop on over to the YouTube channel, get plugged in there. There you can connect with everybody. You can see all the content that goes up, not just the show, but all the great content that goes up on the show, tutorials, software reviews, all that kind of stuff you'll see up on the channel, and get connected there. So I always encourage everybody, again, to hop on over to the YouTube channel and get plugged in there as well. Mr. Dewan, happy Saturday to you there, man. Hope you're having a great Saturday and a great weekend. As always, appreciate you tuning in and stopping by the show. I know you're going to enjoy this one as well. It's animation and all that kind of good stuff, for sure. What else am I missing? Oh, you can now find some of our episodes on some of the audio platforms, Spotify, iHeart Radio Music, and Amazon Music. You can find some of the episodes there. So for all you ones that just, love the audio side of it and would rather listen to it on the go, there you can check out and download some of the episodes. Definitely drop a review, thumbs up, something to kind of help the algorithm and let all those channels know that you enjoy the content. So definitely check them out there as well. I think that's pretty much all the housekeeping stuff to do, and I got out the way. And again, super excited about this episode. And again, once you see his work, you'll understand why, because his work speaks for itself. So I think without further ado, we can get this show on the train tracks. What do you say?
face it. You don't deserve this. You need to wake up!
That's a ceiling.
You know what I mean? But we never got lasers to shoot out of my eyes.
Man, oh man, oh man. As you can see, like I said, his work speaks for itself. So I am super, super, super looking forward to sitting down and talking with my next guest and friend that's decided to stop by the show. He's an experienced Turkish visual effects animator who has been working in the field for over 12 years, specializing in, of course, 3D animation. He's worked on various projects, including blockbuster movies, as you can see, and TV shows. He's also worked as a freelancer, creating animated storyboard animatics and 2D animation for games. And his skills, as you can see, include 3D animation, 2D animation, and storyboard. He's passionate about all forms of animation. Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Sarp Serter.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Sarp, thank you for stopping by the studio and being a part of the Color of Motion family and coming and sharing your journey through this industry. Obviously, from viewing your work, you've had a vast career. And you worked on a lot of great, amazing projects. So I know your journey has been one of an interesting one. So thank you for coming on and sharing.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the awesome introduction too.
No, we always say we like to make our stars look like the superstars that they are. So, and Mr. Dewan welcomes you as well. And I always like to start because I always like to find out what was that thing initially, when you were younger that sparked the interest. Was it a specific superhero? Was it a specific cartoon? Was it a specific animation? What was it that kind of jolted it and said, wow, this is something I think I would really love and enjoy doing?
I mean, I've always been influenced so much by Spider-Man. So because when I was young, I was reading the comics and I was watching like the 90s cartoon. But all animation in general, really, you couldn't like make me leave the TV when I was young. If there was like a cartoon on, and my grandma would always like call me and say like, "Hey, there's a cartoon on this channel. Go watch it." I would drop everything and watch it, and yeah, I would almost get like frustrated like if like a non-animated stuff came on, I'd be like, no, like we're not watching news, we're not watching like real people, only animated stuff.
Got to be animated.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's weird like how I found my way into visual effects because like even watching visual effects movies, I was always like, oh, come on, get to the dinosaurs, get to the dinosaurs, you know.
Well, I mean, okay, you're over in because Sarp's over in the UK. But were you born in the UK or were you born in Turkey?
No, I was born in Turkey. Then I've been all around the place after uni. I lived in Toronto a little bit,
Okay.
and yeah, now I'm in UK.
So when did you leave Turkey?
Oh, I left and came back a few times. I went to an internship in Amsterdam. I worked a bit in Belgium. I studied and worked in Canada,
Yeah.
in Toronto, and then I've been in UK for the last 10 years now,
Yeah.
closing to like 11 years, I think. But I think I left when I was like 22, 21, something like that.
So have you seen I mean, or was it hard finding, say, a community there that was into the same things, and
Mhm.
groups that were into the same things and interested in animation like you? Um, there, how's the industry, animation industry, there in Turkey as far as people that are interested in, visual
Mhm.
effects, animation, and what you do, or is it more online, outside, building that community?
Well, I was lucky to have like went to a fine arts school, so I found like my community much younger. Like when I was 14, I was already going to school with people who wanted to, like, our classes were like drawing based, you know.
Yeah,
So all my friends were like into comic books and games and stuff like that. So then moving into uni, I also went to like animation university. So I always kind of had like my own community of like people who were like super into animation and games and all that kind of stuff. But I think the industry in Turkey actually evolved a lot since I left. I haven't physically been in Turkey for like 6 years now, I think.
yeah.
So I don't really know exactly too much about like the industry right now in Turkey. I know they made some like cool movies. Kötü Kedi Şerafettin, which I think are translated as
Yeah.
Bad Cat,
Well,
was
in
really
that
great.
respect, have you come across other Turkish born creators and, people that, are in the, industry in one space or the other?
Yeah, in UK actually, there's a lot of Turkish animators.
Okay.
There's like really big names like Arslan Elver, who's a supervising animator, and then like Bora Şahin, who's also like a great animator, and Jihan and Murat. Like there's a lot of Turkish animators here that I know that work together with me at Frame Store.
Yeah.
There's some in ILM, but yeah,
Yeah.
Turkish
Yeah.
people like traveling; they're all over the place.
Well, I mean, and now, and I'm going to ask you this because now it's a different time as far as being locked into, I guess, a region of living, especially with COVID happening and then, companies having to kind of shift remotely. Are you
Yeah.
seeing are you seeing that now that people aren't so feeling like they're locked in because they can still do the work wherever it is, I
Yeah.
guess, they're at, if they weren't able to relocate? Or are you seeing studios now, starting more studios now, trying to try to get more people back into the studio and have more people there?
I mean, I think like being region locked is kind of like an experience based thing. I feel like if you're at a certain experience, it starts to matter less because
Mm,
there's more trust that you can do the work. But like when I first started, I'm so glad that it wasn't in an era like COVID that I sat next down to people who were like amazing. Because like if I was working from home, they would just tell me to do this thing, and then I would just be locked in by myself. But I could just look over someone's screen and go like, what the hell are they doing? Like it looks entirely different than everything I'm doing, and somebody could like pass behind me and like, why are you doing this? Like this is all wrong.
Yeah, there
Um,
is something to
yeah,
be said for that in-person connection there.
yeah, yeah. But I think now it's companies are definitely pushing more into trying to bring everyone back into the studios.
Yeah.
When I was in ILM, they were doing like 2 days a week, and I think they
Mm,
want to like increase it. And I've been hearing from a lot of other companies too. I think DNEG it went up to like 3 days now, 3 days a
yeah.
week that you have to be in the office. And big companies they also have the thing like even though you have to be in the office on certain days, or even if you don't have to be in the office in UK, especially, you have to be in UK most of the time. I think because of tax reasons, like if you're getting a UK salary, they want you
Yeah.
to be within UK, even if you don't come into the office. Um, but yeah, I think they definitely want more people to come in now.
Back in, back in. Miss, I don't know if this Miss is a Mr. or Mrs. Asian Shy. Hey, Sarp.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
Don. I appreciate you. Looks like a female avatar, so I'm going to assume it's a woman. Appreciate you. I shouldn't
I
assume.
know him
I'm
from
sorry.
my live streams. He comes and says hi in my live streams too. Yeah, I
Oh
don't know. I
man.
don't know what he
I
is, but
appreciate you tuning in for sure. And everybody just jumping in. We just got this fun conversation kicked off with animator and VFX artist, Sarp Serter. Did you, as far as kind of support growing up, did your family kind of, how did they nurture kind of your passion for this? And did you get a lot of
Mhm.
kind of
I
nurturement?
I think I've been very lucky in that aspect because my like even when I was like very young and I was like drawing all the time, my parents went like, okay, like this kid's gonna do something that has to do with like drawing or art, and they've always like supported me. My mom kind of had that like general mindset of like, oh, like you should have like a concrete job just to be safe, kind of a thing. But she also, both her and my mom and my sister, they always like pushed me into like, oh, for sure you're gonna succeed in this, go for it. Which every artist I feel like has an imposter syndrome at times. Like they've like clapped me a bit too much, like they were like, oh, Sarp, you're great and stuff, and I was like, no, I'm not, like please stop. It's like
uh,
Turkish mothers especially love doing that, but yeah, I definitely had support.
well, I'm
Yeah.
curious, and I have to ask. After 12
Hello,
years and this long in the industry and the breadth of
hello,
work, can you hear me?
I think I cut off.
Uh, no, you're still going. We can see
Oh,
you.
okay, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, it's
Uh,
back. Yeah, I think I just lost you for a second there.
oh, okay. I have to ask you. After 12 years, or
Mhm.
12 years plus in the industry, obviously, like I said, your work speaks for itself. Do you still suffer from imposter syndrome?
Um, yeah, I think the more the when the years rack up, it kind of also like racks up against you too, because then you're thinking like, now I have to produce someone who's like 12 years of experience, and I know when it gets to 20 years, the expectation of an animator of 20 years is a lot more,
Yeah,
and then 30 years. I think like there's a bit of it that's a good thing, that it tells you that like you don't think you're done. I still think there's like so much stuff I have to learn, that I'm learning every day.
yeah,
um but yeah, I mean, it's a bit less like, I think it comes with a bit more confidence now, I would say. Like I kind of feel now that I can do anything. Maybe it will not be that great in the beginning, but I can learn. Like I have
yeah.
confidence that even if like my first pass isn't great, I can fix it, I can learn. Like I'm not worried to like ask people. I have a community of people. Like I love showing my work, getting feedback for my work as well still.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
So for you, what did you feel like was your biggest initial, I guess, challenge?
Mm,
As you were kind of getting into the industry, navigating the industry, that first big thing, that first big hurdle that you felt that you
yeah.
had to overcome, was it technical? Was it mental? Was it more if you had
I
to
mean,
kind of give a kind of an example, or just an idea of kind of that first thing, obviously that was the hardest thing that you had to kind of figure out.
honestly, I would say like the first blockade was regional, because I wanted to go outside of Turkey to get
Mm,
like like a bigger education regarding animation,
yeah,
and I wanted to be part of like bigger companies and stuff like that. And it's quite hard from like Turkey with the visa situation and everything like that. That was the first big hurdle. And then I think a lot of animators face this, and I've dealt with this too. Like that first job is so hard. Honestly, like having now like worked in so many companies with like so many different clients, that first job is like such a difficult thing, because you're competing against with people that who at least had like one position in a company. And when you don't have that, like your assumption is like so much lower. Like even if you worked at like the worst company, they
yeah.
kind of assume that you have an understanding of like working with people, you can deliver projects on time and stuff like that. But I think that's a big problem. Like when you go fresh out of school, people don't know like if you can handle the whole like company structures and like how fast you can do stuff.
Well, obviously, smaller companies, I guess they're able to kind of give you a little more runway with kind of
Hmm.
getting up to speed, as opposed to
Yeah,
say jumping right into Marvel. They're going to expect you to
yeah.
be hit the ground running in what you can do and what you can produce type of thing. Do you see, I guess, more
My
companies
first
kind of
experience
doing
was
that,
Paw
kind of,
Patrol.
giving you the runway to be or to nurture those ones that
Mhm.
obviously they're new to the industry and are
Mhm.
feeling a certain way once they get into a studio.
Um, yeah, I think like I'm kind of experiencing that a little bit now too. Like when I'm hiring people to work on my stuff, it's a big different like seeing someone's demo reel and then like what they're actually are to work with because you don't really see the speeds that they did anything in their demo reel. Like maybe it's an awesome shot, but maybe it took like a month to do it, where you kind
Mm.
of like 5 days kind of a thing. So yeah, I think it's like a good experience, I think, to try out something with someone and then see where they're at to like help nurture them to get to a point. It's
So
like
for
an
you,
investment, I feel.
okay, so for you, because that is, I guess, the thing that I think about is just keeping up with the pace. Especially
Mhm.
if you get, like I said, into a company that obviously, again, is expecting you to hit the ground running. Was
Yeah.
just the keeping up with, you know, the work, especially on
Mhm.
say like your first, I guess, big, really big pride, big assignment type of thing. Keeping up
Yeah.
with the work, or did you feel like once you had that big shot, you felt like you knew enough to where I could pretty much handle this big shot and not feel overwhelmed.
Mhm. I think it's a bit about like feedback more than like speed. Like when I first started working in movies, my first movie I worked on was Mowgli. And I remember I had a shot of one of the wolves smiling,
Yeah.
and I made like just like the biggest and happiest gigantic smile, and I was so proud of it. And I was thinking like, wow, just like being around all these like film animators, I feel like made me a better animator. And I showed it to my lead, and like he started laughing, and he looked at me like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, and then like he kind of explained like because I had never worked on something that's realistic, and I had a dog shot in my like a very cartoon dog shot in my show reel. So when they hired me, they kind of said like, oh, because you have that dog shot, like, and this is a like a show with a lot of dogs. I just made like a really cartoony giant smile, but like with realistic animation, that was like the worst choice I could have made. Um, but yeah, I think
Well,
like that's okay. And
well,
then it's the
and
feedback.
that's and that brings it to a good point because obviously you have to have they say a thick skin to take
Yeah,
criticism and to take the
yeah.
feedback that creatives higher up give you. Was that? I mean, how was that initial? I guess you know feedback. Thinking
Yeah,
like you said, thinking, man, I did. You're really proud of it, type of
yeah.
thing, and you thought the shot was good, and then they look at you like, are you?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback can be tough sometimes, but for like a very long time in the industry, my mindset was kind of like, because I looked up to those people so much, like they are now my friends, but on my first day, they were
Yeah,
like film animators, and I had only like two credits in TV shows. I had worked on Paw Patrol and Thomas the Tank Engine prior to working on film. So I was just looking at everyone like all sources of information. So I always looked at work as like, oh, this is a company, like this is basically a school that pays me.
yeah,
I come to school every day, but instead of like paying for the education, they're paying me. And that mindset like helped me a lot. But every time I got feedback, I was like, this is perfect. I just learned something, rather
yeah,
than thinking like, oh God, like I didn't do it in the first try or something like that.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of feedback, especially on film. Um, I think it's a bit like different than what people assume, but we have dailies. Sometimes there's like two dailies a day. You constantly get like notes
yeah.
over and over again, and it's a very fast track way of like I think learning.
Yeah. Well, you've crossed a few disciplines,
Mhm.
VFX, 2D. Is there one that you kind of enjoy more than the other? Working in
I mean,
2D animation, 3D, visual effects.
with 2D animation, I've done a lot of 2D animation for myself, but I wouldn't say like I'm at a professional level regarding 2D animation.
You wouldn't?
Most of my animation experience is in visual effects or like 3D animation.
Man, you're
Mhm.
really good. If you're not a professional at 2D animation, you're really good because it's like,
Thank
man,
you. Yeah, I mean, storyboarding now, I'm really enjoying it, and I kind of like started like training myself up in storyboarding while I was working with companies,
Yeah,
and then I started like taking freelance works with it, and now I'm like regularly getting storyboarding jobs
yeah, yeah,
alongside animation. That I really enjoy, honestly, like storyboarding. I really found to be like very enjoyable.
yeah.
But yeah, I think like my true love is still animation. That's the I gotta be the one to like actually do it. It's I'm managing projects now, and I send shots to people, and I love like helping people and like getting the shots made. But at the same time, like like I want to kind of animate all of it.
Well, telling your in that, how do you feel like you'll transition
Mhm.
into say directing, where you're not
Mhm.
sitting down doing it yourself, but you maybe create, obviously telling your own stories and creating your own projects, but you're not doing the physical hands-on. Is that something that you want to get into or don't want to get into? The
I'm
type of
I'm
that?
doing that. I'm doing that now because the videos on the social media, they're all paid projects for clients. Like, because we're working with Marvel Rivals and they're like sponsoring the videos, and with a client like that and like a release schedule comes like a very tight deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started, I was like doing the whole video myself, and the videos were like 10 seconds, 15 seconds long. But now we went up to like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. The last penny video we did was like 1 minute, and then that does have to, like, I am pushed more into the director side, and if there's like 23 shots, I get to animate like maybe two of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of it, like, I try to supervise and lead and help people get it there. But
Do
yeah,
you
it's
like that kind of position? The
I I do. It's like, from because being in the beginning, like having an idea and like starting sketching and all, like I kind of want something like this to like skip past a month, it's done. It's such an amazing feeling. I remember like I sketched a month ago, and there's so many people that they jump in, pop, 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 and it's like suddenly I can see my vision that was just like scribbly storyboard drawings now completed. It's a really nice feeling.
Awesome, awesome. Everybody, again, just jumping in. Definitely take advantage of Mr. Sarp here. He has worked on some amazing, amazing projects. Um, what was kind of the biggest? You went to Seneca. What was
Mhm.
kind of the biggest thing you pulled from Seneca College, and your
I
learning
think
there?
um, what I pulled the most from that, I think, is their approach to animation, like in this like industry in general, because every teacher there was someone who was actively working. That was like a requirement for their animation department, that every teacher had to be actively working in the industry. So the stuff they taught us was like really like fresh. They would like leave the studio and come like tell us what they did today. So that
Yeah.
was a great experience. Also, they kind of hammered in the idea of like specializing for me, because when I started working studying in Seneca, like in the first month they said like you need to like pick what you want to be. You can't do everything in 3D. Like, are you gonna be a modeler? Are you gonna be a rigger? Are you gonna be like a render artist,
Yeah.
animator? And once I was like, I want like definitely animation. I don't want anything else. I just want to animate. And then they were like really open to like me going to my like rendering teacher and go like, hey, like I want to focus on animation. Do you mind if in your class I just animate? And they're like, yeah, perfect, go for it. Like that was really nice that everybody was like, okay, like you want to do this, like we'll give you support to do that, and it's okay if you don't like apply as much time to other
Wow.
things.
No,
Yeah.
that's good because you figure most usually try and come out as a generalist,
Hmm.
being able to do this and that, but quickly
Yeah.
I think that, you quickly figure out what it is you enjoy, doing,
Yeah.
whether it's rigging, whether like you said it's modeling or texturing.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. UV
Yeah.
unwrapping is a whole nother thing. Particles and fluids is a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. So you know
Yeah, it's
AIDD. Hey,
oh
Sarp.
yeah, I know him. I know him
AT.
too. He's also
Yeah,
yeah.
ATDD. Sorry about that. Appreciate you tuning in. And I know Sarp appreciates you stopping by and supporting
Hello.
him there. Um, as as you start to kind of go through your journey, Well, as you kind of got into your journey, and since you've been in your journey, what was kind of the biggest myth that you thought going in
Uh,
that surprised you when you were actually being an
oh,
animator?
there's a few of those. I think like the specializing thing was like the first myth that got like busted for me, because I like growing up, I also thought like the 3D artists like do everything. But once you get into the industry, once you get into school, you immediately realize, oh, it's like very specialized. Another thing is that Marvel doesn't have their own like individual animation studio, because like when I get like YouTube comments and stuff, people keep saying like, "Did I work at Marvel? Am I working at Marvel?" Not understanding like Marvel is a client and they do work with like a lot of these like
Yeah.
animation studios. So there
Right.
isn't like one Marvel company you go in and like everyone does Marvel animation in there. It looks like that because like I keep working with Marvel stuff because I love Marvel so much. My whole demo reel is like filled with Marvel. It looks like I'm just
Oh
working
man,
at Marvel.
and that's what I told Sarp. I saw his Spider Man. He posted his Spider Man work on LinkedIn. I was like, wow, this is some amazing stuff. I actually, it was, even though it was personal work, I was like, man, this is like Into the Spider Verse kind of thing.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
really great work. But yeah, that is surprising. Anything else that kind of caught you
Uh,
off
how much
guard or
time
surprised you?
how much time it takes? I think like some shots take like 6 months, 7 months sometimes. I think that's I don't think like people realize that it's not really like there isn't really a myth that like shots take a small amount of time,
Yeah.
but I think like 7 years of experience in Frame Store. I made a reel after like 7 years, and I think it was like a minute long, and I used all my shots.
Oh.
Normally, normally like you would pick and choose the best ones, but I put everything in. I was like, wow, that's 7 years of my life. It's like 58 seconds or something like that. It's not even like a minute.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I tell you. Well, I mean, you're obviously, creative now, and you see how things, the industry's been going. And
Yeah.
how, I'm not talking any particular company. There's a lot of companies laying off, letting go,
Yeah.
you know, um, people getting, let go, and they're doing layoff. And it's a tough time for the industry. What are
Yeah.
kind of your thoughts on just this time, as far as the industry and being a creative coming into the industry, because it is a lot. There's a lot of creatives
Yeah.
now. It seems like, I mean, obviously, as time goes on, more and more people come into the industry, and you're competing worldwide now with people all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at first, I kind of thought of that stuff as because when I first started in Frame Store, I think in my like 7 8 years working there, we had like 3 or 4 mass like layoff kind of a thing happen,
Hmm.
and it wasn't unique to Frame Store at all in any way. Like we would hear the same thing happening at ILM, or like a new
Yeah.
animator from NPC would start, and they would like, oh, like they laid off this many people and stuff like that. I kind of see like why it's happening, because there's a suddenly you get a gigantic project, you have to double the team size, and the next year you don't have that, so then it just like reduces the amount of people. um but it had like kind of like normalized in my head. But then when I started seeing all these like articles like talking about like, oh, like this is happening in the visual effects industry, all these people getting let go and stuff like that, it's at first I was like, what else is new? That's how it's always
No,
been.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why does like people talking out about it now? But then like NPC shut down, and I forget the others, but like so many companies like started shutting
Yeah, I
down.
mean, there's different companies. Like you said, it's every week or every month. It seems like there's a company that's going
Yeah,
through or letting,
yeah, it's
a
really
good
bad.
number of people go. Um,
Hmm.
but I am curious how that all plays into this time that we're in now, as far as and we were talking about this before the show. Streaming services,
Yeah,
creators now are really, you know, see a more viable opportunity of getting their own work out there on a bigger
Mhm.
stage, and just
Yeah.
the tools are getting more powerful, more freely available. Hardware is getting faster
Mhm.
and more powerful, and we're able to
Yeah.
connect even more and work more remotely. So how are
Yeah.
you seeing this time as a creator maybe shift or make a turn?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the bad things have like so many bad consequences, but at the same time, it's usually sprouts out like some good stuff too. Like some things becoming easier creates like more people doing it, then you get more work, like streaming services. When you have like so many streaming services now, and they all started like opening their own like animation sites, like Netflix's animation.
Yeah,
I think it's
Amazon.
amazing what
Yeah.
all the stuff that Amazon is doing their own stuff. Like they're doing more 2D stuff, but there's that side of it too, where they used to be like get like an off, they would get like just work from a client or like work from a studio. Now they're like having their own studio, so there's more work like appearing. But yeah, it's a tough time for the industry for sure.
Oh man. Everybody, just jumping in. Uh,
Mhm.
Barry Barak. I'm gonna say Barak.
Berai, his
Barak.
name's Berai TK. Yeah,
Barak.
it's someone from my live stream as well. Like we work together.
Awesome.
He's an awesome concept artist and a texture
Okay,
artist.
well, we're gonna have to connect and maybe get you on, Barak. For sure. Appreciate you coming on, stopping by, and supporting Sarp and the show. We've been having a fun conversation talking animation, the industry. Obviously, the big elephant is, that's going on now is AI. Has it, made any type of impact? What are your thoughts of how it might or might not impact what you do, type of thing
Yeah,
moving forward?
AI is a really weird thing. When I was like working inside studios, still like when I was in ILM, it wasn't really something that was implemented into the pipeline. I don't think it is now either. And I think it was because now I do more through my company. I do more social media stuff like sponsored videos and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And generally, that looks like more of a concern with like AI, because like everybody can now make like fight Hulk fight Spider-Man or something like that and put an AI
yeah,
video. But I'm having like the opposite effect, where people genuinely seem to be a lot more interested and more driven to my content because it's not AI. And I do everything on the live stream, so like people can see that it's not AI because I'm
yeah,
doing it in front of everyone.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I think like it must be a difficult thing for like a new creator like trying to get into this field and have to compete with all these like AI contents, especially
yeah.
because of the length of those videos. Someone like put some prompts and makes like a 1 minute, 2 minutes video for like an animator to make like a 2 minute thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
months. Months.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing even people that are, pushing and trying and working towards making a full AI, animated, movie and posting
Yeah.
it. It's like you said, it's an
Hmm.
interesting kind of dynamic and time for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's really weird thing because like as a creator, like you take so much enjoyment from the process. And I think like stuff that we do are creative because like we know how to do it. So like I go like, you know what, I'm gonna draw Spider-Man swinging, and I sit down to do it, and like immediately like, where am I gonna put Spider-Man's heads, where does it look cool? And then I go like, it would be cooler if it was like a behind the shoulder shot. And I just made a random decision then. And then I started drawing his arm, and it's like, oh, it would be cooler if it was like pointing away from the frame, so there was like some depth into it, which I didn't think about, like
Yeah,
because I sat down. Now I'm in the process. Now I'm finding out all these ideas, all these angles, all these cool things that could like work and make it nicer. And then you end up with like an animation or like a drawing or something that you yourself didn't know that would like go into that direction, and like, you kind of go through that journey to get there.
yeah,
With AI, because it just gives you what you say, which is the result, I think it like stifles people's creativity a lot, because yeah, you can look at the final image and give feedback to that, but there's like so many micro decisions that you missed out on.
Yeah.
I think it's really bad for someone who like wants to learn, especially because like AI is gonna constantly give you like perfect compositions and stuff like that. So you're never really gonna understand. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted to draw a storyboard just to explain something, your idea that you're gonna do with AI, you're still not gonna know why your boards are weird.
Why your
You
boards
know?
are,
Yeah,
or why you positioned it or framed it this way or that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's like you said, I think it kind of helps you skip the process of
yeah,
learning and
yeah,
showing.
which is really bad.
And I told, and I hope everybody caught this of what you
Mhm.
said as far as, what you're doing, showing with your live streams and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I had said a while ago, that this year, and I had told a friend of mine at the beginning of this year that the word for the year is reality. People want to
Mhm.
see,
Yeah.
you actually doing work. So you're starting, and you all of a sudden started seeing a lot more creators posting
Mhm.
behind the scenes of them
Yeah.
actually drawing, showing that they're actually what they're creating, the process. And
Then
therein you
people
show
started
the
using AI to
value.
do that.
Yeah, yeah. Therein you show. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to do that, but that's
Yeah.
you'll catch on. You can. That's the thing about AI. You can spot it if you sit and look
Mhm.
at it enough. You can spot it. I don't think it's gotten,
Yeah.
like you said, to the point where you see those human flaws that you would
Mhm.
see in
Yeah.
an actual piece of work.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of artists, and I tell a lot of people you need to start showing your process of what you're doing.
Mhm.
That's people get the appreciation of the skill in the craft that you have if you show the
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I tell people, hey, you want to really appreciate stop motion? Watch the behind the scenes. Watch the behind the
Oh
scenes.
yeah.
You'll get a
Stop
big
motion, especially
appreciation for stop motion movie.
I have a behind the scenes of the X-Men video up
Oh,
if you
okay.
wanted
We're gonna
to
jump over
find
here
it.
and let Sarp share his video or share his screen, and I'm gonna try and pull this in here. Uh, okay, let me try and pull this in here as a camera overlay. Uh, Let me see how I can do this here. And we're gonna. Ooh, I don't like that. That's me. Okay. Okay. And we're gonna change this to. See, now you can see how I put this together here. Let's change it to a wide. All right.
Boom.
And we'll
Yeah.
scale it right here. So this is some of your storyboards, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's I really like storyboarding, but I also have to say like we do these projects in like an insane pace. It goes from like not even knowing what the idea is going to be to
Mm-hmm.
final in a month.
In a month.
It's yeah. So the whole
So
animation,
how
rendering,
for the
modeling,
full
rigging.
for the
Mhm.
full animation, for the full,
Yeah.
movie or whatever you're doing, you got a month to get all the
Yeah.
storyboards in it. Wow.
Yeah, so it's gonna be quite scribbly, but this top left here is basically like my thought process, and then I kind of put that into like a 3D layout to kind of get the idea working, and then the animation is the bottom left, and then the bottom right is the final render. It's like it kind of stays true to the original idea. You can
Yeah.
kind of see all the elements. It's not timed exactly the same way, but like this Wolverine jump here turned into the jump in the beginning, and this whole like sliding around the
Now, are
arm to
you
like
doing the? Are you just doing the storyboarding and not doing the animating for the bottom two?
this. I did everything.
Okay,
This
so
was
you did
all done
everything on this. What'd you use for the
except render,
storyboarding?
and like FX, 2D FX render and music. I didn't do, but I did all the animation, and I did all the storyboarding for it. The model and the rig of the Sentinel was also done by our team. I didn't do that.
Man, and this is a
Um,
month. How many? If you had to equate hours that you put into this, I mean,
um,
just a
yeah,
ballpark.
it's a funny thing you ask about that because my YouTube videos perform so much better if I put the title, I spent 100 hours on this. It's I don't
And I
actually
believe,
track
and
the
look at it,
time.
you believe it.
Every time I'm like 100 hours. Okay. This video was 20 seconds. The other video was a minute, 100 hours.
Oh
It's just
man, oh
catchy.
man. So is that the normal kind of pace for the social content that you're doing? You got a month, like say with Marvel, they
Yeah.
give you a month to create this social, or are you
Yeah.
creating multiple, I guess, social pieces? Is it just one video and you're slicing it up, or is it like
Well, it kind of depends. Like now we kind of started getting into this thing where like it's kind of like offsets. So when we're like halfway through with one of them, we start the next
start the
one in the
next one?
beginning. So they kind of like there's a period where we're working on both at the same time, and then one releases, and then we will just be doing one, and then doubles up.
Wow.
And then outside of the social stuff, we do actual client work that we can't share on our social media.
Yeah.
So it's all like bunched up like that. Anyway, I just want to show that there's
No,
more
this
of
is amazing, and this is again, people. This is part of of what I'm going to do more of this season is start real artists and real creatives coming on, showing their process and actually doing like live demos um, of how they're thinking going through this. What software are you using through this whole process?
the drawings are made in Clip Studio, which again, like I wanna point out how simple these like top left drawings are because like I need an idea and I just need to like start going, like have a
Yeah,
rough.
and I'm hoping everybody catches that because I think that's the thing that it gets me too. You figure out like you sit down and you think it has to be this polished drawing to
No,
start out with, and no, it's just getting your ideas in rough circles out.
yeah, I mean you have to do it first, then you can make it better. Like make it first, then make it better, kind of idea. But yeah, so we animate everything in Maya. The storyboards are done in Clip Studio. These 3D boards, basically, I do the layouts inside Maya, and then I use
Yeah,
that as a background to do like a final board.
yeah.
And then some like every animation we do has like a different artist working on it. The render is usually done in Redshift
Mm.
with Maya, and sometimes there's people who use Unreal and other type of stuff. It's
Is it difficult? Because I've always wondered this myself on, especially on big projects where you got multiple people
mhm,
working on, say, a character or this, keeping continuity across
mhm.
multiple artists on a single character. Is that a
Yeah,
difficult thing to do?
it's like right now our team is small enough that like I'm the only supervisor, like I'm the lead and the supervisor regarding animation, so I get to have like a control over that for like each person. I think like that becomes a bigger issue where like the sequences are so long that you need to have like multiple leads, and then every lead is having an animation decision that is correct, but that not necessarily fitting the style. And I think that then it becomes like a more difficult thing. In the in some movies that I worked on, there would be like teams on specific characters.
Yeah.
Like in Guardians, we had a Rocket team. That's most of the people that worked on Rocket would only do like the Rocket
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Different people for different characters. Sometimes it gets like jumbled up a bit, but they all the models have their own like unique little particular things. So you kind of want to have you don't want to have to like double do stuff. Even if it's just like teaching how a model works.
So usually for you, how long would the sketching process be before you got the idea to move on to a more polished, you know?
I mean, the rough sketches I do. I mean, to actually do what you've seen takes me like an hour or 2 hours, but I will probably do like 4 or 5 of those before I'm like, this is the one I like. That's why it's so like sketchy. I usually start with like drawing like a loose like comic book frame that I'm like,
Mm.
I like this. This is like a cool composition. And then I look into the story and like, where would I fit that? Like, how would they even end up in that position? And yeah, I usually do a bunch of like cool thing, cool thing, cool thing, cool thing, and then try to like put them all together, which sometimes gives me an idea. Like with the X-Men one, originally I wanted like something entirely different, but then I realized like every time I did like a cool section, I was thinking, oh, that could work in the same scene, that could work in the same scene, and then it ended up being a oneer, which is like an extra difficulty thing, because there's no cuts in this. This whole thing is literally one shot. The camera
So,
never cuts away.
so when they approach you, do they just give you, hey, we want to do something with Spider-Man? We don't know what, or do they have an idea of what they want
It's like
and kind of let you? Do they give you kind of the creative freedom to play in your
it's
storyboarding?
Yeah, so it looks like they come to me and they say, "We have an idea. We want something with Spider-Man," because I somehow managed to put Spider-Man in almost every video. But because I'm a Spider-Man fan. The way it works is like they come to me and they tell me for Marvel Rivals, they will tell me like we have this character or this event. We want to do something around this,
Mm,
and then I'll craft something. Like this one, for example, was the release of Rogue. So we made like an X-Men video basically, and then it ends with like Rogue being there.
yeah.
And then this one was for the release of Angela, so like it's featuring her heavily. And this one was for the zombie event. This is the only one that's a bit weird because I was doing this for myself because I just like love the idea of like zombie Spider-Man. And then rivals saw this and they were like, "Oh, like we want this because we have a zombie thing coming out." So we kind of like quickly added in the Scarlet Witch at the end, which was the boss at the zombie version of Marvel Rivals. So it became like something that we can like present to them as like a
Yeah.
sponsored video. But the
Wow.
original idea for this was that it was just gonna be like something for my channel
Wow.
for Halloween.
Now, see, this is, like I said, amazing work. And I hope everybody is getting the full appreciation for the process of creating even just a short. Like I said, this is just a short. You're not talking about a film or anything like that. It's just a short.
The,
But
the
you can see
longest we did is a minute. I'm very proud of that, but it's not even like a short film. It's
a minute, and that's long. A minute's long.
yeah.
uh, we got to throw some comments in here, of course. Do a backflip.
Yeah.
Do a
See what that
backflip.
is. It's like when I first started live streaming, they wanted to like give me challenges, and they said like do a backflip, which I cannot. So I said like if I ever hit like 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll do a backflip. And now I'm at like 54,000. I still can't do a backflip now. I
Come
can't
on
do it.
now.
It's
Come
like,
on,
yeah.
Sarp. You gotta have
No,
to, you gotta have to
no, like
be a man of your
I,
word.
I'm trying to like do like a life balance thing where like I'm trying to exercise more and lose weight. Hopefully, I'll get to the point where I can finally do the damn
I'm
backflip
right there
too.
with you, Sarp. I truly am right there with you.
Yeah.
But no, this like I said, you obviously love the style. Is that kind of the
Mhm.
style that, a lot of your Spider-Man and you, like you said, you love Spider-Man. Is that kind
Yeah.
of the style that you like and have found interesting?
I mean, this kind of look, we kind of were trying to create the feel of the first Marvel Rivals cinematic, but the artist for this one, Lucas, we both like Spider Verse as well, so it kind of turned more into Spider Verse. I can show like some of the more recent ones because nowadays we're trying to embrace the stepped look of the Spider Verse ones. I'm trying to find all the correct ones so I can like pop it in there. Um, Let me tile
Yeah,
this.
yeah, man, such amazing animation work. Oh man. So would
And
that be your, I guess, top bit of advice to somebody, kind of just starting out is that they should, niche early, find that thing early that, they want to get into.
what they want to specialize
Yeah,
on.
what they want to
Yeah, I'd
specialize
say
in.
so. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's. like now it's a little bit weirder thing to me because I used to have people asking me like how to get into the industry, how to become like an animator for Marvel and stuff like that. But now I also get people who's asking me like how to start a social media channel, like how to make animation like sponsored content and stuff like that. And I think if you have like a YouTube channel, it's a little bit of a different conversation, uh, because then you benefit more from like being a generalist because YouTube channels generally function after the success. Like after you have some success, then people like want to help you, and then you build something together with like a community. But when you're beginning, you're not gonna have anyone, so you kind of need to do everything. Where in the industry, if you want a career, like you want to be an animator, then it like matters a lot less that you know how to model or render or something like that, because companies want to hire like the person who's best at a specific thing rather than someone who's okay at like multiple things.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I'd say it's kind of based on like what you want to do. Like if the person wants to work in like Marvel movies, then I would say, yeah, definitely you have to like specialize.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so this was like an example of the ones that we started doing where the animation is on twos. Basically, you can see that the characters are like updating every second frame, as opposed like it's kind of like the Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah.
All right, if I go here, you can see. Anyway, it's harder to understand in the setup is kind of tiny.
Has
But
there ever
yeah.
been like, I mean, have you ever had a challenging one that it took you a minute to figure out how you were going to pull it off or how you were going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, all of these, partly because of me, comes with a lot of challenges because I keep wanting to do something that I've never done before. Like this one was kind of like a horror thing, and the spider guy has 6 arms, and I've never done something like that before, and I wanted to try that. And then the other one we did, which I'll put on here, oh, like the Black Cats. When we did the Black Cat, the whole idea with that was, can we do a music video?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll lower the audio for this one here, but
Yeah.
this also comes with like, okay, so how do we like fit everything to be synced with the audio? Because now we are like edit locked much sooner because we need the
And that was a
music to be
month
able to
too?
animate.
How long? And
Yeah,
that was a month too?
yeah, it was also a month. All of these
Jeez.
are a month. And then for this one, I'll pop that one out here. For this one, it was like, can we make a gigantic thing, like, because I've never done like a kaiju fight before. I've never worked at something like a Godzilla or something like that. But like this is the thing that I was talking about. Like I made this board basically just to have like some, let's do some kaiju like gigantic kind of stuff. And then when it came to animating, like there's so much work to do that I didn't get to animate the giant robots at all. I mostly like worked on the Spider-Man shots, because I'm more comfortable with that, and I can like put it out quickly. And then we had like an amazing team of like so many
Oh
people.
man.
We got all of it
That's
like working
beautiful
out.
work.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, for you, what is it about animation that you just so love? Is it the
Oh
process of
man.
just creating? I mean, what is it about?
I mean, with the final look of the animations, like when I go to watch animation, it kind of feels like every frame is a painting. Like you can stop at every frame, and there's so much artistry that goes into everything, which, when with live action footage, there's like so much importance with like proper lighting and camera work and directing and writing and all of that. But I feel like all of that has to happen in animation too. And then on top of that, you have to make everything by hand, like every
Yeah.
little grass and like everything. And it just like amazes me so much that like I can't get bored looking at this kind of stuff. And I have ADHD. I get bored very quickly. And with
I think all
animation, I get
creatives have a little bit of.
mesmerized.
Well, and just to kind of give people a little, heads up that what is obviously you're doing this on a very beefy system. What's the kind of the system that you work on? Just kind of spec wise.
Oh, um, I have a NVIDIA 5080, I think. Yeah, it's not that beefy. I mean, yeah, it's a good computer, but is it like the great computer because I have to do animation on it, or is it because I'm actually playing Marvel Rivals and I can't have my frames drop when I'm playing? It's a bit of like a different conversation. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
it is a
true.
business expense. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
a business expense. We have to like reduce the tax on it, but
You
you
guys
know,
didn't hear that on the show,
yeah, I mean, because I think for animation, you do need like a decent PC, but it doesn't have to be like an insane PC.
Yeah,
I
if you're
think
not
for
rendering.
rendering,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm not doing the rendering myself, and I
Yeah.
think for like the rendering artist, it becomes like a bigger thing. And I think like I very quickly get to a point with my like PC setup, then like, oh yeah, I can animate on this, and then I add like one more thing that like jumps the price double, and that's kind of for the gaming
Oh,
side.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you obviously enjoy pushing yourself to try
hmm,
things that you haven't done before. What
yeah.
what would you like to try next that you haven't? That is like, man, I'd like
Oh,
to give this a shot.
I have I have some stuff. Well, I don't know how much I should say because it's like the future videos basically. But
Yeah, I don't want to get into trouble either. Showing stuff that shouldn't be shown. But
yeah, I
hey,
mean, I basically have things that I've always wanted to do. That I feel like a lot of people have this where like they watch like an animation or cartoon and they got really excited to animate or like draw themselves, and they'll have an idea like, oh, what if Spider-Man did like 5 shots when he was falling and like held a helicopter or something like that. You get these ideas. I have a lot of those. I have a lot for someone with super speed. I want to do something for a character with super speeds. I have because I've never done that. That's like a very weird kind of like, how do you animate super speed? And there's been a lot of like different ways that people have done that, and I want to like take a shot at it and like see like what like weird things I can do.
yeah,
I want to do more stuff where the narration is kind of told more with lighting than posing of the characters and animation like that. So something not necessarily have to be scary, but like I want to basically animate the colors and the lights to
like
kind
a
of show like a change of the mood and stuff like that.
like a film noir type of thing,
We
or
did a noir thing actually.
yeah,
uh,
well, or a style, really
yeah, something like
stylized. I
yeah,
guess you were saying really kind of stylized
yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like we have a new one coming up now with Daredevil, and with that one, I really wanted to kind of get into his like senses and how his senses work, and
Yeah,
we kind of swapped the sound with light. So like when sound comes on, light comes on,
yeah,
and then it's a kind of way we're trying to represent how like his hearing works because it's supposed to be like a super hearing thing.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I have so many ideas. Like I want to do some like cool Superman invincible stuff.
Well, and this
You
brings me to another great point as well. Do you see, you know, more brands doing that, reaching out to creators to say, "Hey,
Mhm.
I'm working on this campaign. I've seen what you're doing. You're doing some
Yeah,
cool animations. Let's work together. To
yeah.
come up with something." Do you see more companies going directly to creators now? Because they're
Mhm.
seeing on social media the stuff that we're creating.
Yeah. I mean, I've been experiencing that a little bit, and after like getting into this field, I've kind of realized that, oh, this is like a business structure that people have been doing for a while now. Like there are other YouTube channels like Dylan Goose Studios, for example. They do awesome work, and it's I think they also like started as like doing fan art, and then they started getting sponsorships. And there are a lot of games. Basically, it's what your audience is. Like I make a lot of stuff with like superheroes and action based and animation, and people who are into that kind of stuff are usually also into games,
Yeah,
or they're into learning how to do this stuff. So the sponsorships I get is usually either like education related or gaming related to like help take this audience into like playing their games and stuff like that. But yeah, the one thing with that is I think it's the cards are like kind of like stacked against the creators when it comes to creators who do animation, because like if I was like a social media influencer because I'm a gamer, for example, like I had millions of subscribers because I'm like amazing at playing Marvel Rivals, then with the sponsorship, what I would do is like record myself saying, "Hey guys, play this game," and then that's enough because like my face is the content, right? Because I'm a
Yeah,
famous
yeah, yeah.
gamer or something like that, and that takes like significantly less time
Yeah,
than animating something.
animating, you have to
So
come up with an idea and a story and that type of thing. Yeah,
yeah, and like their budgets are not more like set for someone who could like spare a few seconds, and not really set for someone who's gonna like hire a team and like a full team for a month.
gotcha.
But there's
So,
a
so if you're thinking social media, like animation for social media, then you need to
Mhm.
be thinking like short, quick, something that's not going to be obviously like a short,
Mhm.
a real long short or feature film. You got to be
Yeah,
thinking, how can I get my message across in this
yeah,
short period of time, animated wise?
yeah. That's a really interesting thing actually. That it took me like a while to get to, because I would do like one animation that's amazing, and then I would do one that I thought wasn't great, and then that one would be like getting millions of views, and I was just so confused. Like I don't understand like what's going on here. And then more I get into it, the more I understood like it's about like how to keep an audience in like a social media space. Like it's super important what your first shot is, and the fact that people don't swipe away in the first 3 seconds, or what can I do to constantly make you not swipe away for
Yeah,
like this like tiny 30 seconds and stuff like that. And some of it kind of goes against how to actually make a film, like if you were learning how to make film or write and stuff like that. It's like establishing shots is like the worst thing you can do
oh yeah,
in
yeah.
social
And
media
you don't
content.
have the time for pacing. I mean, that's what it's a different thing. Long form and short form is a very
Yeah,
different thing. You have a short period of time to get your message and your point across. Whereas
yeah.
long form, you can build up to that and you can pace your way, through
Mhm.
it. We got to throw some comments in here because we're getting some good comments for sure. I for sure struggled with the 6-armed Spidey. That was new,
Right.
and that is the thing. Is it obviously animating?
Mhm.
Multiple limbs and multiple characters interacting with each other
Mhm.
is a very difficult thing to do. Was
Yeah.
that something that was challenging for you at first when you were animating, say, two characters interacting with each other and really showing the dynamics of the two?
Yeah. Yes, that the X-Men one, for example, was for that, because I felt like I have a lot of character interactions that are just like a punch and then like stops moving. So I put all the characters on one character to kind of like force myself to get more comfortable with like constant like character interaction. Uh, yeah, because with the X-Men one, they're on a moving thing that like never stops, and they're
Yeah,
like hanging to it and stuff like that. Yeah, it comes with its own challenges. Yeah, but animation is like such a weird thing. Like it's so magical to me. Like the 12 principles of animation applies to any kind of like thing with frames. It even
yeah,
applies to like video footage. And once you get comfortable with that, like even if you do everything wrong, you can look at the final video and figure out this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong because of this principle, because of that principle, and then you can like start massaging it. It's I think like leaning more onto you, like my eye as an animator, rather than like an animator who has to be like a technically skill level. That's
yeah,
been easier for me. I feel more comfortable doing things wrong because I can watch it in the camera view, and I can check if like all the principles of the animation is working right, if anything's popping or not, and
yeah.
then I'll just fix that and it will work. you know some of these scenes look very different inside my eye, I'll tell you that, like all like broken limbs and twisted arms and
Oh
stuff
man,
like that.
and that's the thing. Most people don't see they only see the final. They don't see
Yeah,
all the in between stuff for sure.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Mr. Dan 99 YT 39. The noir one is still on my top faves, top three.
nice.
Yeah, I like the Spidey vampire monster spider one. Yeah.
Yeah, Man Spider and Cap Wolf. Yeah,
And the
yeah,
Kaiju is the first, then Spider Noir, and the last is the Agent Venom one.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Nice.
man, I tell you, what would okay? So for somebody that you're just is just coming up, what would you tell them is the skills that they should kind of think about and focus on? Not say I'm talking artistic skills. Say for like a storyboarder, somebody that wants
Mhm.
to be a storyboard artist. What would be those things that you would say? These are the things that I think that you should pay attention to and should focus on if you really want to be a good storyboard artist.
I think for storyboards, I used to read a lot of screenplays from friends just to like try to help them like
Yeah,
make it better and have an input on it. I think that helped a lot for me to like understand like what's important in like a sequence in a scene, because when it's in writing, it kind of feels boring a lot quicker if you stay on something for too long. So I'm kind of thinking of that a lot when I'm trying to do storyboards of like every frame. You're kind of like animating the audience's attention. You know, like I'll look here right now, and then I'll
yeah,
have something drive it to somewhere else to like reveal something. But it's still like a textual thing. You know, it's kind of like a script. Is basically saying, look at this guy's claws. They're sharp. Their problem. Look, they swiped, and like who's that behind it, or this person. You know, it's kind of like narrating through that. I mean, the drawing skill is obviously like the biggest thing, even though these don't really show that. I feel bad about that. I can draw
well,
way
I
better
mean,
than
do you
this.
have to? I mean, I guess I don't know how polished
Mhm.
of drawing when you're getting into storyboards are they wanting you to do? You know,
I
once you
mean, it's
before you get into the final like animatic and stuff like that. How
yeah.
polished of a storyboard?
I think it's kind of depends on like I'm the director in all of these, right? So I think every director has their own like priorities, and for me it's animation. So when I craft these, I focus so much on like the posing and the composition of like how I'm gonna link all the actions together and stuff like that. So this is enough for me to like get all my ideas through to like I can explain everything that I thought of without me being present to my team with this regarding animation. But if this was a horror show, for example, I think this storyboard would lack in lighting because it doesn't have enough like lighting information to lead the team that way. But the way we work with, we're still like a small company. We usually work with freelancers to do the rendering. So we're having like a different kind of like a system of they will get so much more
Mm-hmm.
once it's time to render. So then it doesn't have to be in the storyboard because by the time they get a look at the they get a look at like what they're gonna render. The animation's almost done, so we kind of don't need that in the storyboard. It also allows me to keep it a little bit lighter so we can like start faster. But I think it's like depending on the project, you know, it's I would say that's what's important for each one is like a
Gotcha.
different thing.
Holy mackerel. Everybody's just jumping in. We've been having an amazing conversation with my friend and guest, Mr. Sarp Serter, animator
Yeah.
extraordinaire and storyboard artist as well. You know, we got to throw up some comments in here. Zentor VFX. I'd like to mention Sarp spends a lot of his time teaching others. He's a great mentor. I'd go as far as saying he taught me more in the past years than I would have got as an education in education, years of education. And I think that
He's one of our animators. I appreciate that. Thank you.
and I think that is obviously practical working experience. I think
Mhm.
trumps
Yeah.
just learning, in school book learning anytime, anytime you can get
Yeah.
practical on the job mentorship from people, then
Mhm.
that's definitely going to get you further ahead. I agree with you on that one, Zinter. I like calling myself a student
It's
of the
super nice
legend.
to meet her in person. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Hey,
Dan.
you're getting a
He
lot
also
of flowers right now, Sarp. So hey, soak them up, and they're well deserved. Again, if you've seen his work, obviously the flowers that he's getting are well deserved. He
Thank you.
does amazing, amazing work. Where do you where do you see, obviously you're doing, you've gotten into this kind of social media
Mhm.
animation space. Where do you see kind of your future kind of
Mhm.
going, or what you're wanting to kind of experiment into? There's obviously this is animation is a big playground. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things you can get into. So
yeah. I mean, I think for like the last 15 years almost, one of my like biggest driving factors was to make my own animated TV show. So with a friend of mine, we wrote like a pitch documents and we wrote like a pilots and designed characters, and it's called Zack and Time.
yes,
Um,
we're gonna jump over here to that. Let me take this down. I'm glad you brought that up.
I
Let
can
me
I can put that one here too if you want, but if you want to show it on your screen, maybe that's better.
well, I just had still, the still graphics. Let me where is that at here? Screen. Okay, I just want to take that down there. Zack in Time. Uh
Yeah.
and tell us a little bit, tell us a little bit about, Zack in Time, kind of why you started it, what it's about.
Yeah. So Second Time is basically about Zach and his sister Marla. Zach is an animator, not in like a typical sense, because he's actually a necromancer, but he's so naive that he doesn't understand what his powers do. So whatever he touches comes alive. He's basically giving life to what is dead, but he didn't like make the connection yet. So he makes these like really goofy looking like funny characters like every time he touches stuff. And the whole story is really about like me and my relationship to my family. I used to travel a lot with my sister, and the stories we have with like my mom and dad, and it kind of like rolled into like this coming of age story. My sister was like really protective of me, so I
Yeah,
kind of like imagined her as this character that's like like a tough lady with a sword defending Zach,
yeah,
as like Zach tries to figure out his life. Because it's I think like every artist kind of resonates with the idea of not being like particularly good in a lot of things, but like being good at one thing. Growing up, like it was tough for me to just like being somewhat okay in like drawing and that kind of stuff, and like struggling with other sides of life. And of course, like it led me to like kind of have the life that I have now, which is like surrounding in animation. So like everything is the way I want it to be now. But it's there's a transition period of that, and it's kind of about that, like coming of age.
well, let
Yeah,
me ask
it's
you,
it's a
what have you found is the challenge of putting a web series together? Because obviously it's a lot of work. You're creating this is episodic, so there's a
yeah,
lot of animation that you're cranking out. What has been some
yeah.
of the big challenges for bringing this to
I mean,
fruition?
actually doing it has been the biggest challenge for me, because I've done the one episode only, and I kind of did it as like a proof of test, like a test concept, because I want this to be not be a web series, but I want it to be like a animated show. So we have a pitch document
Okay,
and everything regarding for that. But I also wanted to go into the web series and like see what that's like. So I made the first issue, and animation is like such an important part in my life, and this story is also like a love letter to animation. Zach technically being an animator, so the whole concept is like whatever it touches becomes animated. So I also made the comic animated. So every frame of the comic is animated. My struggles was mostly for that, because I wanted to use a different web series sites, but they didn't allow GIFs. But because what I do is animated, everything had to be in a GIF because I couldn't use
mm,
JPEG. So kind of like what I was trying to do went against the typical structure of like how to make a web series, because I want like everything to be animated. Um, but yeah, that was the biggest challenge. And then I think like it had a small success. Like I think for someone who never made a web series, it got like a lot of views and people seem to like it. I got like comments about it and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know where to go with the web series side of it. To be honest, I want to do more animation with it. I want to. We've modeled all these characters in 3D now. We kind of want to animate experiments like what it will look like in 3D animation without
mm,
losing that like 2D heart of it. As much as I love 2D animation, like I've built a whole company that like pumps out animation in 3D so quickly, it's kind of like a no-brainer to actually try to do that for my show as well. Uh, yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. So like in 5 years, I really want to get to a point to be a company that can produce this. That's the goal.
Nice,
It's also
nice.
like opened up so many doors to so many people like me, as in I didn't know like how common of a thing this was. Like every time I meet like another animator, like another artist, we'll talk about like work and we'll work together and stuff like that, and they'll be like, oh, by the way, I have this idea. And I'll look at it and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, what is that? I was like, oh, this is this thing that I've been doing for 10 years. I'm gonna pitch it to people. I'm like, oh my god, I have second time, and like this guy will have this and that and that. Like it's so common,
Oh
and
man,
I really
which
love it.
is so true. Like I said, I feel like that's a big thing, that a big impression that I've learned throughout this time of especially doing the show is that, you know, it's a small community and everybody is working on projects together. You know, like I
Mhm.
said, you know, they got their friends, their coworkers helping them on projects, working on projects together. So it's a very you know, community driven community. You have to be really in a small community, and
Yeah,
everybody knows everybody. So working with
yeah,
each other, and that's how you do. You build relationships and say, "Hey, I'm
yeah.
working on this project. I know you're a good concept artist. You're a good storyboard artist. You want to work on this with me?"
Mhm.
Type of thing. That's how projects come to fruition, when friends come together or people come together and start wanting to work on something. And you know, Zach and
Yeah.
Time is just like that.
Animated Adventures of Second Time. Yeah, it's also this became like I've gotten so much out of this project outside of actually just like doing it. Like it made me learn so many skills. I started storyboarding for this project. Like this is like the main reason I was learning storyboarding. Main reason I started learning coloring, character design, like making a web series and everything like that, which all translated into so many stuff in my professional career. And now as I operate as a company, this also like Zack in Time has become like a amazing portfolio piece to show people, like if you want to pitch your TV show idea, if you want to pitch your project to people, the producers, stuff we do is perfect for that, because we basically make a 30-second to like a minute long animation in like a month. So that's perfect for a pitch, like maybe it's not enough to make a whole short movie that's like 15 minutes long to send to a festival. But if you want like pitch your idea, if you want to like see what your idea would look like when you're like talking to producers, when you're pitching your idea, if you want to have like something animated, it's perfect for that. And like we're doing the same. Like everything I do out of love for second time becomes like a portfolio piece for clients to see like what we can do, what we can
Yeah.
offer.
And
So
I
it's been
often,
really, really good.
obviously, with what we do,
Mm.
I do motion graphics and video animation. I tell people it's a powerful way of telling and promoting, telling your story, promoting your product. Visuals, animated visuals are very powerful. And
Yeah.
obviously, people are attracted to movement. So anything that moves, people are going to notice it right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's why motion and motion graphics are such a powerful medium, because it
Hmm.
draws your eyes into something to where we want you to draw your eye to. So definitely keep on the lookout for Zach in Time. We're definitely going to be wanting to have Sarp back on when that really gets into full gear, for sure. Everybody, again, we've been having, boy, we got a great turnout here. I like it. We've been having an amazing conversation, and that's what happens when you have great guests. Amazing
Thank you.
conversation with my friend Sarp Serter, animator
Mhm.
and storyboard artist. Um, as we start to bring this plane into the hangar here, what are some, and we talked a little bit about this before the show, but what are some of the ones, the animations, and they don't even have to be animations, but just films and stories that you've seen that you kind of like, we're starting to see, especially in the animation side, we're starting to see a lot
Mhm.
of experimentation in styles.
Yeah, that is
Obviously,
amazing.
Spider Verse, was a thing. Flow
Yeah.
was another kind of different
Yeah.
stylized animation. type of thing. We're
Mhm.
starting to see a lot of, which is why I love this time that we're in, because you have these tools that are allowing just creatives to
Mhm.
experiment and play in different styles and try different things. Like I said, blenders out, and they're amazing tools, that
Yeah.
can create a production style work. And I had a show
Mhm.
like this. You got a lot of free tools now that are starting to become available that are really production style tools that can really
Yeah.
produce amazing work. Blender,
Mhm.
DaVinci for video and editing and color grading and all of that. So you're getting these tools in the hands of creatives, which is what I love seeing. And you're starting to see these different stories, different styles, just people experimenting with things that, you wouldn't have thought of or wouldn't have seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing to add to what you said is also social media at the hands of creators is also a massive thing, I think, because if you can imagine, like 30 years ago, this wasn't like you couldn't get your work seen by this
Oh
many
yeah,
people
yeah,
so easily, so quickly. I think that's like a huge strength in the creator's hand as well, like with all these
channels.
crowdfunding websites
Yeah,
and
channels, funding
YouTube
sites.
and
That's why I say it's a
yeah,
great time, despite the ups and downs the industry is kind of
yeah,
going through. I think it's a
yeah,
great time for creatives because they do have all of these things that, trust me,
mhm.
weren't available when I was starting out in the industry. You have all
Yeah,
of these channels and opportunities now to make, to make money off of your own ideas. That's the thing I'm
yeah,
trying to get across. If you want, you just have
yeah,
to have the fortuitiveness and the stick to itiveness to see it through.
yeah,
It's a lot of work, you know. Doing a web
yeah,
series is a lot of work. Doing an animated series is a lot of work.
yeah,
But the upside is you can go straight to your audience now and go directly
mhm,
to them and sell them whatever it is that you want to sell them or show them or entertain them with. So I think that's the big shift now.
mhm,
The contact and the connection point is more
yeah.
direct.
And I think that also allows like feedback as well,
Yeah.
because I think all the creators imagine like think that, oh, my idea is the best, my idea is so great, and then you put your idea out there and people look at it and then you kind of see if it was great, or like maybe if they didn't engage with it, like what can I do with it, what can I try. Like I have a fighting game that I made for Zack and Fight, for example, outside of the comic as well, which also taught me like how to do like game animation and stuff
Mm,
like that. But with the videos I'm making for Marvel too, like when you very quickly put out something and get a result, and it's like this one got good result, this one got bad results, and then you look and go like, okay, like so something works here, what can I do? And I think that's like incredibly fast now, or like before it would have been so long. If I was just like showing my friends, they'd be like, oh, like this is great, man, and I
yeah.
wouldn't actually test it against like a million people to go like
Yeah.
this is actually a good idea, or like this
Yeah.
is not a good idea, that kind of a
No,
thing.
yeah, you're exactly right. You get immediate feedback and
Yeah,
which is why I also say I like doing the live video,
yeah,
doing this show live. Yeah, there's something
yeah,
about immediacy that you get, the immediate
yeah,
feedback that you get from people. It helps you adjust things and
yeah,
change things on the fly, and you can see it in real time how things happen. So I hope everybody is catching all of these nuggets that Mr. Sarp is dropping here.
thank you.
For sure. This has been kind of like I said, one of my favorite shows because I love obviously animation and content creation. Um, just as we kind of close this out, one just parting thought for you. What one parting thought that you want to leave people with, and that you would
Mm.
hope people take away from this time that we've had together?
I I say this a lot, and I say do what you love. I think it's like so important to do the thing that you actually love because you do it like so much better if you love it, And I'd say that's would be my parting love. I love animation, and it's not really about like the quality of animation when I say like do it better, you know, I can do animation over and over and over and over again, and like you can't really burn me out with animation because I love it so much. And you know, I think I'm so happy and grateful that I found that thing for me, you know, and
Yeah.
I think it's super important to find that, and then you know, you know, your life opens up in like a different way if you're doing what you love. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, amazing. And you guys, I like to do it. You drop a bomb on those bomb nuggets. Do what you love, and have a passion for it. And like you said, it opens up a bunch of other opportunities,
Yeah.
which is, like I said, the main reason why I love doing the show and continue to do the show. I enjoy it. I love it. It opens up the opportunity for me to meet and connect with great creators and make great friendships with Sarp and all the other, friends that I've had on the show. It's all about making connections and making relationships, and you got to have
Yeah.
a passion for it. And so I can't thank Sarp enough, for coming on, sharing his extensive knowledge and foresight in the industry. And again, as I've said, his work speaks for itself. He does amazing work. Remember, guys, the moral lesson today is that Spider-Man fans are doing crazy things. Yeah, as you can see, I'm a Spidey fan myself. I love Spidey.
Yeah.
And what you say to
Yeah.
infinity and beyond. I love it. I love it. Oh man,
Yeah.
I love when my guests and viewers have fun in the show. That's what it's all about. I always say it's an interactive show, and I always want my viewers and my guests to be interactive in this show. And you guys have been just that. Make sure that you hop on over to Sarp's pages, connect with him. Again, I've only showed just a fraction of his work. If you go over there, you'll see the amazing. And I'm not even talking about his professional work. I'm talking about just his personal work. It's just amazing, and that's how I found him, from his personal work. Amazing work. Obviously, his professional work is top notch. If you work for ILM and Marvel and all those, it got to be top notch. Make sure you connect with him. You can find him on Instagram. Check out his Twitch page. We're probably going to have him back doing a live stream. Storyboard session. Definitely, we're going to have him back on to do that for sure, and connect with him. Check out his YouTube channel, and all his sites, sarpserter.com, Zach in time, and without -h.com. And find all good. All this stuff will be in the show notes, so make sure that you hop on over into the show notes and check out the links there. If you're just checking out the page or just checking out the show. But again, can't thank Sarp enough for coming on and really making this a special episode. This was fun.
Same here. Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
Sarp, if you can hang out for just a second in the green room while I close out the show, I would appreciate it. Everybody, again, please, let's thank our guest, Sarp, for coming on and making it a special time. Hang out for a second there, Sarp, while I close this out.
All right.
Man, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I did. And again, like I said, you really get an appreciation for his skill level when you see the work that he does. And just 2D alone is hard enough, but 3D, VFX shots. He's a man of many talents, and great talents as well. So I can't thank him enough for being a part of the Color of Motion family and coming on and gracing us with his presence. Thank you. Thanks, guys. No, thank you. Thank all of you for tuning in and always tuning in and being a part of the Color of Motion. I can't thank you enough. I always say I cannot do this without you. So thank you. Like I said, season 6 is on fire, and we are not slowing down. And next week is no exception. So buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be another good one. Super looking forward to my next guest, Mr. Carlin Taylor, another 3D character animator. So it's going to be another fun episode. So definitely don't want to miss that one as well. Man, this has been a great episode, a fun one for me, and I hope a fun one for you. Have a great rest of the weekend and an even better week. I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Cheers, everybody.